This is Jiao, a college student fresh out of the gate for his freshman year. He's buzzing with that newbie energy, so he heads to campus right away. Bad luck, though it's a holiday, now he needs a place to crash. Jiao grabs his bag and heads down to the village to scope out a hotel. As luck would have it, the worst kind of luck, that is, the only place he finds is this hotel. Then a weird box on the ground catches his eye. When he stares closer, he sees these glowing yellow eyes staring back. He totally freaks out. He's like, what in the heck is tat? Suddenly, a cat springs out right into his face. He nearly jumps out of his skin, no kidding. But Jiao quickly calms down, giving the cat a hug and playing with it, until he hears this strange bell ring. The cat vanishes right out of his hands like it was never there. Right then, his attention snaps to a massive hotel gate in front of him, dark like something straight out of a horror movie. Out of nowhere, a short man with red eyes pops up, scattering papers on the ground. A swarm of terrifying birds and bugs appears right in Jiao's face. He almost soils himself. Turns out that was just his imagination, thanks to all those horror flicks he watches. Anyway, the old man takes his bag and says, "Welcome, welcome. Come on in, kid, we're gonna get you totally hooked up." The man snatches the bag and dashes up the stairs. Jiao steps into the building but misses the bizarre green energy filling the air and that strange magical circle on the ceiling. He runs after the old man Guan to get his bag back, but Guan is sprinting like a 10-year-old. He finally stops on the 4th floor, room 404, and says, "This is your pad, pal. It's a breath of fresh air, north-facing AC, a bed, and check out this closet. Long story short, this is a luxury suite, my man." But Jiao retorts, "Luxury? Seriously? There are cobwebs all over the walls and that bed hasn't been washed in years. I'm not staying here, I'm out." Before he can leave, Guan stops him. "You're an art student, first year, aren't you?" Jiao is creeped out that Guan knew that detail. It was actually obvious from his brand new clothes and the paint on his shoes. But the real truth, Guan had swiped the kid's file from the bag and read everything. Guan opens the curtains and says, "You want to ditch this room and miss this view." And yeah, the view sells Jiao. He agrees to stay, but then he spots a weird painting on the wall, a person with a disfigured face. "Look, if I'm staying, take down this freaky picture." Guan quickly takes it down, but surprise, there's a hole in the wall behind it. Even weirder, they can see a woman taking a shower on the other side. Guan is stunned because that woman lives on the 5th floor and they're on the 4th. Plus, that hole should be facing the hallway, not the 5th floor. To check, he reaches his hand through the strange window. Suddenly, he pulls out a piece of her clothing. Now both of them are terrified. Guan dashes for the stairs to confirm what he saw, but twist, he finds another bizarre window on the stairs. A hand reaches out, snatches the cloth, and pulls it back in. Guan is shaking his head in disbelief, muttering, "No way, something is seriously messed up here." Right as Jiao asks, "What did you do?" The door opens and there stands Ms. Hua from the 5th floor. "What's all the racket?" The two men tense up and quickly rush back down, completely bewildered by what just happened. How can the 4th floor have a window opening to the 5th floor bathroom? Anyway, we learn that Guan is the hotel owner. When Jiao says he's hungry, Guan points him to some nearby restaurants but gives him one warning: don't be late after midnight. Our hero hits the market and fills his stomach. 2 hours later, he's on the hotel street, but then the gate is gone. He checks his phone, it's midnight. Strange insects appear everywhere. Suddenly a green light illuminates the street. Out of the darkness, a bizarre person emerges. Jiao is freaking out when his phone rings. Coincidentally, a door beside him opens and Guan pops out. He was calling because Jiao was late. Jiao looks around, perplexed. Everything's back to normal, the place is regular again. He's all nervous, unable to tell the difference between reality and hallucination. While he's spacing out, a guy with a weird look on his face tumbles onto the ground and starts sleepwalking. Jiao is terrified, thinking it's a zombie or a ghost, but he notices the guy is human and probably just fell. This is his neighbor, Jai. Jiao decides to follow and help him. He even films it on his phone just to make sure this isn't another hallucination. But the guy walks right into the water. Jiao runs after him, trying to stop him, and manages to grab hold. Suddenly, the moon turns a bloody red and they're surrounded by strange black shadows. Jai wakes up terrified, but Jiao quickly clamps a hand over his mouth. They look around, frightened. When they look up at the moon, they see that same strange person from before right there in the sky, focused on Jiao. Jiao is staring back, terrified and nervous. Jai, who was just in his arms, is gone. The black shadows vanish, but the moon is still red, and now even the water is red. Before he can get out of the water, a strange force grabs his leg and yanks him under. Jiao is panic-stricken, trying to escape. He surfaces again, screaming in terror. A huge monster appears right behind him. It drags him back underwater. Jiao is struggling, unable to breathe and about to die. But at the very last second, someone pulls him out and throws him onto the shore. Jiao struggles to breathe, bewildered by what's happening around him. The person emits a green light from their hands, and suddenly the sea turns into a powerful tornado and the monster comes flying out. It looks like the Bug King. With one loud shriek, it summons its entire army, which swirls around the strange person and completely hides him. But a massive explosion happens, killing all the insects. It was caused by the strange person, whose body is now covered in blood. He starts fighting the monster with all his might. He shows no mercy, smashing and hitting it until he completely destroys and explodes the monster. Its pieces rain down on Zhao, who faints from the horror. In another place, we see strange children emerging from underground. One says, "Finally, the chosen one that Tai Sui spoke of has appeared after 300 years. The fun is finally starting and will control the world again." The next day, Zhao wakes up with a jolt and yanks off the blanket. There's no blood on his body. He grabs his phone, looking for the video he took of Zhai last night. It's not there. He figures it was all just a nightmare and relaxes. He gets ready for his first day of school. At the same time, the TV news anchor reports that the lake water has mysteriously vanished. Zhao doesn't care and leaves the hotel, informing Guan that he's not coming back. He's moving into campus housing. He arrives at the university and asks the guard for his room. But the guard tells him the dorms are full up, no rooms available. Of course, Zhao argues, asking where he's supposed to stay now. The guard points to a hotel and takes him there. Turns out it's Guan's hotel. Zhao has to stay because the hotel is contracted with the university. Zhao argues, thinking they're all scamming him. But then Hua appears and explains that this is the cheapest hotel in the village, which is why the university uses it. He has to stay here until a spot opens up in the dorms. She leaves. Zhao realizes she's also a student at his university. Before Guan can snatch Zhao's bag again, Zhao grabs it back. "I'm not staying here, forget it, this is a ghost hotel." Suddenly someone calls out Guan's name from the darkness. Both men scream in terror, clutching each other. It's Zhai, the same guy Zhao met at the lake yesterday. Zhao rushes to him. "Did we meet yesterday?" Zhai says, "No, this is the first time I've seen you." Zhao walks closer, confused. But the moment his foot touches the hotel threshold, the entire hotel turns green. He finds himself in a weird red place with a huge red magical circle beneath him. He snaps out of it when Guan calls him, wondering why he's spaced out. Zhao looks around, everything is gone, he's still in the hotel. When he tries to explain what he saw, nobody believes him. He asks Zhai, "You didn't see me yesterday. We were at the lake, there was weird red stuff everywhere and a giant monster showed up." Zhai says he remembers feeling like he was choking and that someone had a hand over his mouth. Before they can continue, Guan cuts them off nervously. "It's late, Zhai, you better get to work." Zhai leaves. Zhao grabs his bag to go to his room, but Guan stops him, asking for his ID to register his data since he'll be staying longer. Zhao gives him the ID and goes upstairs. Guan reads the data. When he sees Zhao was born on Xinhai Day, he says with a sneer, "You didn't come here because of your luck. The hotel chose you." Finally, after more than 300 years, the chosen one appears. From afar, a man in a fancy suit and his assistant are watching. The assistant asks, "Guan always refuses to give us the hotel. Should we just get rid of him?" The boss replies, "No, we're not criminals. We're businessmen. If he won't sell willingly, then we'll use our own methods. He'll sell whether he likes it or not. I think you understand." It turns out he has two strange-looking guys with him, two of the most dangerous criminals. The boss tells them the hotel has 5 floors visible to you, but there are 18 more floors underneath. And beneath them is a great treasure, a terrifying power. If we control it, our lives will change. We must reach what is under the hotel at all costs. Back to Zhao, who is furious about being forced to stay in this lame hotel. While he's shouting, he suddenly screams in terror and falls off the bed. He found that same weird hole, but this time it's right next to his bed. He sticks his hand in to make sure he's not hallucinating. Suddenly, an energy swallows him and he finds himself in a strange, completely red place. Right in front of him is a huge monster with bizarre threads coming out of it. Next to the monster is the same person he met at the lake. He throws a drop of blood at Zhao, waking him up. Zhao looks around, confused that he slept all day and he's going crazy from these constant weird hallucinations. He decides to wash his face to clear his head. But he hears a strange noise. Suddenly, a girl is in his face, kicking him and slamming him against the wall. She yells, "You better get out of this hotel right now, run." We go back to Guan in his room. Suddenly, objects start moving on their own and flying at him. He dodges them all. When he looks behind him, he sees an old man sitting in the dark. His nickname is the Ghost. Guan pulls out a yellow paper, throws it at the ceiling, and suddenly, it explodes into thick smoke. Guan is about to attack, but suddenly he freezes. With a single look, the Ghost slams him against the wall and jabs a wooden stick into his hand. Guan asks, "Who are you? What is this power?" The Ghost tears open his clothes, revealing a strange darkness underneath. I'm not human. I'm the ghost who will take the most precious thing you own, Guan, the thing you're hiding under the 18th floor. Guan throws an exploding paper and shouts, "You are not touching anything in this house, buddy." Next, we see the third member of the gang, named Anthony. He enters Jai's room, which is full of gym equipment. He plans to leave and find another room, not noticing Jai is hiding under the blanket. Jai hits him with a knockdown blow and gets ready to finish him off. Back to Jiao and the girl whose name is Nang. She's trying to kick him out. "Get out of here now." Jiao goes to get his bag to leave and she stands waiting, poking through his stuff. Jiao lifts his bag and slams it down on her head. "I'm gonna knock you out, you crazy lady." But surprisingly, she's unharmed. Jiao screams and sprints down the stairs. "Help, she's gonna kill me, I'm sorry ma'am, I swear." But she kicks him, smashing down Hua's door. Hua is shocked to see them. Nang doesn't give Hua a chance to ask questions and rushes to attack her too. Jiao yells, "Run, she's vicious." Nang is sent flying by a single strike from Hua. Nang is stunned by her strength, but she decides to show off her own fighting skills and attacks. It's a heavyweight ladies match, my friend. They're fighting and Jiao is standing there cheering them on, unable to believe what he's seeing. Hua pins Nang down on the floor and breaks her arm. "Wow, you're good, this is awesome." Let's check back on Guan, whose arm is also broken. The ghost slams him against the wall again, grabs his stick, and writes the word ghost on him in blood. He says, "You and your whole clan are going to die. Tai Sui won't save you from death. He died 300 years ago, and even the Chosen One was seriously injured and died too." Strangely, the ghost hears a voice saying, "I feel Tai Sui's power here." He drained the water from the lake and shut down the power of the blood moon. The ghost pulls 2 rings from Guan's hand. The voice says, "Let the Chosen One suffer, let's make sure he's dead." Back to Jiao, who's totally focused on the fight. Hua is beating the stuffing out of Nang, hitting her with such fast strikes that Nang can't block them and falls to the ground. Hua finally puts on her coat and relaxes. Jiao claps and says, "That was amazing, you're the best girl." But suddenly they hear screaming. Turns out Jai has also beaten up Anthony, who is screaming in fear and trying to run away. As he runs down the stairs, he runs right into the ghost and asks for help. The ghost stabs him with the wooden stick and kills him. Jai looks at the body in horror, touches the blood and faints. The ghost doesn't care, he holds Guan's rings happily. "Finally, I have the ring of the Guanjia clan leader, now I know how to find the treasure underground." He then surrounds the place with his energy, which lets him see everything. But suddenly, he sees a terrifying red power in front of him. He confirms that the Chosen One is standing right there. He means Jiao, who is standing next to Hua, completely confused. Hua screams in terror, "Get back now." The ghost punches her in the stomach and kills her. Jiao stands there terrified, not knowing what to do. Behind him, the ghost is delighted by Jiao's power, which has started to appear everywhere because of his fear. "If I eat you, I'll come back to life." He attacks Jiao, who tries to run and is surprised by his own speed, but the ghost is right behind him, attacking with the wooden stick and trying to kill him. Jiao runs up to the roof. Of course, the ghost moves all the chairs on the roof and throws them at Jiao, who can't defend himself and is buried under them. But strangely, he pushes everything off easily, coming out alive and unharmed. He doesn't understand what's happening to him, especially when he looks at his hand wounds and they heal on their own. "Wait, do I have superpowers?" Suddenly, the ghost appears behind him, grabs him by the neck and starts choking him. "Tai Sui's power is inside you, I have to take it." He starts to drain the power from Jiao's body. Jiao screams in pain, unable to break free. The magical power leaving Jiao's body is connected by strange red threads leading underground, which is the location of the treasure under the 18th floor. At the same time, we see Guan injured and beaten up. He decides to get revenge on the ghost. He looks at the candles beside him and plans his attack. Back to Jiao, who is still suffering, unable to get away from the ghost. He can barely breathe and is about to die. He loses consciousness and is fading away. But at the last second, an energy covers the whole area. Before the ghost can celebrate his win, he's violently grabbed by the scruff of the neck. He's forced to let go of Jiao. The person who grabbed him throws him far away. Jiao is stunned by the powerful person in front of him. It's the same person from the lake whose name is Ting, nicknamed the King of the South. The demon bows down to him in fear, apologizing, terrified by the presence of the King of the South. "Hold up a minute, we need to know who the King of the South is. Picture this, my friend. 300 years ago, there was a city called Guanjia, known for its power among the lands. One day, a message was sent to the emperor to immediately gather his army and head south for a dangerous mission that would change the entire world. The leader of this entire army is the guy in front of you, King Ting, the protector of the South. Anyway, back to Jiao, who is confused that the guy he sees in his dreams is the King of the South. The ghost apologizes to the king, terrified. The king actually forgives him and tells him to get lost. The ghost gets up and is about to leave, but Jiao gets up and yells at the king for forgiving the ghost after he killed half the residents and almost killed him. Suddenly, the ghost gets angry and rips off his clothes, revealing a skeleton. He says, "I apologize, King of the South, but I can't go back after reaching this point." He runs straight for Jiao, who falls to the ground in fear. Before the ghost can touch him, the king grabs him by the head and says, "Don't you dare touch him, you deserve to die." He starts crushing the ghost's head with all his might, completely ripping it off. The head rolls on the ground. Not done yet, he throws the body off the roof as well. But here's the weird part, a red needle drops to the ground. Jiao is freaked out by the horror movie playing out in front of him. Just as he is about to stand up and speak, a flying wooden stick nearly shatters him, but the king quickly catches it. We hear the ghost's voice from the darkness. It's a well-known fact that all kings of the South have terrifying spiritual and fighting abilities, but looks like you're out of practice, king. The ghost reappears, but now in Anthony's body, having taken it after chopping off his head. Jiao stares at him in horror, unable to believe what he's seeing. The ghost is determined to take Jiao's power at any cost. He laughs evilly. "I used to wish for death, but now I'm clinging to life and I won't die until I fulfill my wish." Suddenly his hand changes shape. He throws a bunch of wood at Jiao. Jiao is about to die from fear, but the king quickly pushes him aside and starts blocking all the attacks from the crazy ghost. The ghost keeps throwing wood, trying to kill Jiao, but the king blocks every hit, grabbing Jiao by the collar to keep him out of the line of fire. Finally fed up, the king grabs the ghost by the arm and throws him far away. But the guy won't die, he gets up again. "Looks like this kid is important to you too, but I'm not leaving without him." Suddenly, a huge amount of wood shoots out of his hand, throwing it all at the king, who manages to block the attack with a magic spell. But the ghost doesn't give up and keeps throwing wood. The king blocks all his hits while holding Jiao by the scruff of his neck so nothing hits him. The king finally has enough. He creates a tornado and throws it at the ghost, crushing him. But the little demon won't die. He gets up again, the wood popping out of his body. He throws them all at the king with all his might. The king suddenly vanishes, leaving Jiao in the line of fire. Before the kid can die, the king reappears behind the ghost, grabbing him by the scruff of the neck, immobilizing him. Suddenly, all the wood stops, completely vanishes and evaporates. Jiao is left speechless. "Wait, am I still alive?" The king has the ghost pinned down, and the ghost is now acting like a whining goat. "I'm sorry, boss, I won't do it again, please forgive me." The king creates a green flame on his finger, ready to kill him. But the ghost quickly speaks. "Have mercy, your majesty, please don't kill me yet. I haven't gotten revenge on the person who killed my family with the Tai Sui needle. Please spare me so I can get revenge." The king lets him go, surprised. The Tai Sui needle. The ghost explains that the needle was like a magical medicine and a curse at the same time. He tells him that a long time ago he was sick and dying, so his mother asked a sage, who made her a medicine that would save his life, called the Tai Sui needle, a cure for all diseases. He told them the needle had to be placed in the chest and not removed for 7 days. The person had to stay inside a coffin for those 7 days, and then their health would return once they removed it from their chest. The ignorant people believed it. After 7 days, the ghost woke up in his coffin and found blood on his hand. He quickly got out of the room but stopped in shock when he saw his entire family dead on the floor. He rushes to his mother, trying to wake her up, but she's gone. He looks around. His wife is killed. All his siblings and friends are dead because of the Tai Sui needle. The ghost nervously holds the needle, especially since he hadn't removed his own from his chest yet. That's why he was the only one left alive in his family and the entire village. He went insane from the shock for years and years. His only goal is to get revenge on that man. Suddenly, he saw a white-haired person in front of him who said, "I'll help you get revenge for your family's death." The ghost finishes his story, saying he lived for over 100 years because of his desire for revenge, and now wants Tai Sui's power so he won't die, and can get revenge on the person who did this to his family. Surprisingly, the king tells him, "I will grant your wish, but you have to bear what happens to you." Suddenly, he places his hand on the ghost's head. They both vanish from the place and head underground to the location of the power the ghost wants. The ghost goes completely crazy, unable to believe this power will be his. He laughs and cries at the same time. Suddenly, the red threads tie him up, but instead of giving him power, they start draining it, weakening his body and choking him. The man screams in pain and falls to the ground. His body starts shrinking and he's gasping his last breath. The king looks at him coldly. "Tai Sui chose Jiao himself to give him his power. You deserve nothing but death." They reappear in the hotel, but this time the king has cut off the ghost's head and thrown it off the roof. It lands on that same guy from earlier, who is horrified by the sight. We go up to Jiao, who is speechless, wishing this was all a dream. Suddenly the door opens and Guan pops out happy. He jumps to hug the king. My grandfather, don't you recognize me? I'm your great-great-great-grandson, the 14th generation. Jiao remembers Hua, who was killed, and is about to shout when he sees her in front of him. I'm fine. Turns out, my friend, she wasn't dead, she was acting. As soon as the ghost left, she and Nang woke up. Nang jumped out the window to escape. She tells Hua, I'll be back. Before she can finish, Hua throws her shoe and sends her flying out the window. Hua then joins them on the roof. Before they can talk, old man Jai arrives, swinging his cane. Where's the guy who tried to act like a bat? I'm gonna knock him out today. But Guan says, calm down, Bruce Lee, it's over. The ghost reappears and attacks the king, but in an instant, Jiao stands in front of him and takes the hit to his neck. Everyone is shocked. But the king quickly grabs the ghost by the neck and sends him flying with a terrifying gust of wind to another place, far from the hotel. We see the ghost's Tai Sui needle break, a sign that he is now weak and about to die. Back to our hero with the wooden stick embedded in his neck. He closes his eyes, dying. Let's check on the seemingly immortal ghost. He's sitting by a phone on the street calling someone. When they answer, it's the same person who offered to help him. He says, looks like you forgot your real mission and acted on your own. The ghost replies, no, I met the king but I couldn't hurt him or even touch him. He inflicted seriously critical wounds on me that destroyed my body. Please save me quickly. But the unknown person holds a Tai Sui needle and says, unfortunately, you don't get a second chance. You have to die. He hangs up on the ghost, who finally looks like he's going to die. We see his needle on the ground break and vanish. Our old friend the ghost is finally dead. Meanwhile, the unknown person stands in front of his bird. Every person has their fate. The chosen one is now under the control of the king of the south. This means the fusion of Tai Sui with his body will take some time, so I must use the circumstances to my advantage. We learn, my friend, that his title is Lord of Spirits and his name is Ling. Back to Jiao, who opens his eyes and finds himself in the red center of power. He can't believe he's still alive and is terrified by a scary face. The king tells him that is Tai Sui. So my friend, Tai Sui is a strange being. All the old mythical books talked about him. Whoever eats his soul will become immortal. People don't know that Tai Sui is like a zombie coming from the world of the dead, a terrifying, merciless creature. Jiao is of course horrified by what's happening. But when the king sees his fear, he assures him that Tai Sui won't kill him, he'll give him a new life. Some symbols appear. The king says, remember the night you fell under the sea and suffocated but woke up in your room? You should have died then, but Tai Sui's power saved you. And today you should have died, but his power saved you. You're now part of Tai Sui. Jiao asks, why me? I don't know him, why save me? The king says, Tai chose you to be his living sacrifice. Suddenly Tai runs after Jiao, who is running away in terror, but Tai catches him, swallows him, and then spits him back out. Then he runs his tongue over Jiao, who is shocked. Dude, get away from me, you're gross. But the king tells him that Tai is happy, and since he's playing with him, it means he agreed to have Jiao as part of his power. Jiao confirms this when he remembers the changes to his body, coming out of the rubble unharmed and his wounds healing instantly. This means none of what happened was a dream. The king informs him that on a specific day, the Ghost Festival takes place, and on that day, strange monsters appear and the troubles never end. This happens in the middle of the 7th month. Jiao interrupts him, dude, what does all this have to do with me, and what is this strange place? The king tells him this is Tai Sui's kingdom, 5 floors above ground and 18 underground. But Jiao doesn't care about all this talk, he just wants to get out of here. The king tells him that his fate is now linked to Tai Sui. He is the chosen one and can never leave this place. He must stay in the hotel. The next day, Jiao ignores all this talk, grabs his bag, and is determined to leave the hotel. He stands in front of the door scared to move, but then musters some courage and steps 1 foot outside, sweating from the terror, waiting for his leg to be cut off. Nothing happens. He grabs his bag and quickly leaves. He's still thinking about the king's words, not understanding why he said he'd never leave this place. He doesn't care and continues on his way, but before he leaves the hotel street, he falls to the ground. The red threads of Tai's power come out of his leg. Jiao is terrified. He tries to get up and run, but he falls on his face. The power in his body increases and his leg changes shape. He starts screaming in pain until he passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself in Tai's kingdom, not understanding why he's there. The king says, every time you die, your body will automatically return here because Tai controls your body. Without his protection, your body will be destroyed and burned. Jiao is shocked. What do you mean? I'm only alive because of this weird red stuff and I'll be trapped with this guy. So Tai is also imprisoned, and if he leaves this place, I'll die. The king says yes. But Jiao doesn't believe these myths. He goes back to the hotel, gets a bike, and starts riding, but his legs become paralyzed again and he returns to Tai. But the kid refuses to give up. He goes up to the roof and throws himself off. He keeps trying one attempt after another, aiming to escape this hell, but all his attempts fail completely. He always returns to Tai. Zhao breaks down, unable to believe he's trapped here and won't be able to go to college or return to his family. He'll be trapped here. He argues with the king, demanding a way out. Unfortunately, the king tells him this is his fate and he must accept reality. But Zhao refuses to surrender to his fate. He goes out again, wishing all this was a dream so he could return to his family and his dreams. He starts running in the street, but before he reaches the end, he falls on his face and the king feels sorry for him. His body is destroyed. He tries again, trying to get up and return to his university and studies. He can't imagine his hard work being for nothing, and he won't see his family again. But his body keeps burning with every attempt he makes. He refuses to surrender to his fate, fighting until the last moment. He doesn't want to give up on this hell. He takes out a yellow paper and sticks it on Zhao's head. Tai's energy leaves his body and he returns to normal after being burned. The king appears in front of him. This is a Tai Sui life talisman. It will protect your body from being destroyed. As long as you have it, you can leave here. Zhao hugs him, crying and thanking him. He runs quickly to register at his university, which he hasn't done yet. He quickly registers his name, but strangely asks for a temporary leave. He grabs his bag and runs to a printing shop, pulling out the talisman. Please, print me 100 copies of this. He takes the 100 copies and goes to the train station, determined to leave the whole town. He stands in front of the train mirror. Forget school, my life is in danger and I'm not listening to that crazy old man. The train arrives and he gets ready to enter, not noticing the talisman's shape has changed. He gets on the train and finally sits down to rest and take a nap. But a strange person walks past him and does something with their foot that suddenly wakes Zhao up. He feels a terrifying power. He looks around, but there's no one there. But whoa, his arm is cut off and turns into Tai's threads. Zhao is terrified, unable to control his arm. At the same time, Tai Sui is furious at Zhao. Suddenly, the blood threads fill the whole city and are about to kill the guy in front of Zhao, but Zhao quickly controls himself and tries to grab his arm. But he can't. Tai's power moves him everywhere until his hand finally returns to normal. Just as he takes a breath, suddenly, the blood threads shoot out of his leg. The old man in front of him is oblivious, playing on his phone. Suddenly, the threads shoot above his head and he's about to die, but Zhao grabs them. Enough, you're driving me crazy. The old man is startled. The train door opens as they reach the station. Zhao grabs his bag and quickly gets off, heading to the bathroom. From afar, Ling is watching him, gloating. We go inside to Zhao. Tai's power inside him has greatly multiplied. Blood threads fill the bathroom and reach the ceiling. Zhao is screaming in pain until the power almost completely takes over his body. The cleaner enters, alerted by his screaming, not understanding what's wrong with the kid. Zhao screams in pain, "Get out and leave me alone, it has nothing to do with you." He's afraid of hurting him, especially since the blood threads have taken over. Suddenly, the door opens. The threads are numerous and grab the poor old man who's about to die, but the king suddenly appears and starts cutting them, controlling Zhao's power and exploding them all. The kid's arm returns to normal. The cleaner screams when he sees the king, thinking he's a zombie, and passes out, as does Zhao. The king ignores them and vanishes. A little later, the cleaner wakes up to the sound of Guan, who apologizes. "Sorry, we're shooting a horror movie here. Go rest in your room and don't worry about us." The cleaner leaves, confused. We return to the king, who is carrying Zhao and throws him back into the kingdom. If Zhao moves too far away from Tai, both of them will be seriously harmed and Zhao's body will be destroyed and collapse. He can't understand why Tai chose the weak Zhao, who has nothing to do with any of this. Next, we see the mysterious person standing in front of a huge palace. He touches the walls with his hand and the whole place is surrounded by energy. It turns out, my friend, that on this day there's a Tai Sui disturbance and his seal weakens. He takes out a red envelope. Today Zhao will learn the truth. Back to Zhao, who wakes up with a start, thinking he died. The king informs him that the life talisman has a limited lifespan and goes bad after 3 hours. Zhao could have died forever because the talisman lost its effect and changed color. Zhao begs the king for another talisman, but with one blow, the king sends him back to his room. Zhao screams and thrashes on the bed until his phone falls. He looks under the bed and is surprised to find a huge pile of paintings and pictures. They all say Yan Ting the killer and criminal. While looking at the paintings, the same red envelope falls out. It contains a map. A little later, he's standing at the map's location with Zhai. The place is called Nanting Village. Strangely, the same symbol on the map in the building is on Zhao's life talisman, which he got with great difficulty from the king after much pleading. He has to find something useful here before time runs out. He starts searching the place. He accidentally touches the walls and suddenly Tai's power appears and touches the symbol on the sign. Jiao quickly pulls his hand back, feeling something is wrong. He goes to Zhai. Let's climb up this building. Zhai says, let's go. The two of them climb the walls and reach the top of the gate. Jiao keeps touching the sign until he reaches the engraving. Suddenly, he sees strange scenes of a terrifying massacre and people killed by a knight whose face he can't make out. Crash, the walls shake and the gate falls on them. A secret door opens underground and they fall into a strange lake full of stones. Jiao quickly gets out of the water, surprised by the swords everywhere. Zhai also gets out of the lake. They look around and find a huge gate. They decide to enter, hoping to find a way out. But strangely, the gate says, evil spirits keep away, and they're cursing and damning Yanting. Jiao is surprised that everyone hates this person. They enter the hallway and are startled when the candles light up on their own as they walk past. Suddenly, they stop in shock when they hear someone coming toward them. They hide ready to strike, but then he looks exactly like Guan. It turns out he's Guan's cousin named Da Vinci. Before they can speak, they see knights with a strange, zombie-like gait. Da Vinci quickly runs away. Zhai attacks the zombies and defeats them, but the shocker, they get up again. The two run quickly and reach Da Vinci. The number of zombies has doubled. Zhai and Da Vinci run quickly. Jiao falls on his face and the zombies surround him. Before they can touch him, Zhai and Da Vinci kill them and they continue running quickly. Jiao says, they're dead, why are you still running? But then even more zombies appear in the next hallway. Jiao runs as fast as he can, cursing them until he catches up. They enter a room to hide. Da Vinci touches the walls and tells them this is the ritual room and it must have a defensive mechanism. The three search the place, but unfortunately, the zombies have found them and surrounded them in the room. Suddenly, Jiao spots a strange engraving on the wall. At the same time, the zombies rush at them. Jiao steps on the engraving and the floor opens, swallowing all the zombies. A secret door opens behind them. They enter and the place is dark. Da Vinci pulls out a flashlight and startles them. The two want to know exactly what he's doing here. He tells them he's an archaeologist, here to explore the place because it belongs to the Guanjia family. He shows them the family crest, which is a bird, the same shape on Jiao's talisman. Jiao asks who is this family and what's their connection to this place. He says this is the real Nanting village, which was buried underground. Many people died here because of Yanting, the king protector of the south who killed his own people. Jiao is shocked that the king who helps him is a killer. Da Vinci informs him that 300 years ago, to gain the throne, Yanting killed his brothers, his father, and the entire population. This place is called the Altar of Souls, containing all the souls Yanting killed. Jiao can't believe that the king he loves is a killer and a criminal. Da Vinci tells him that the king did all this to gain Tai Sui's power. Next, we see the king arriving at the place. The moment he enters, the statue's eyes change color and the place shakes. Two huge zombies wake up and move toward him, raising their weapons to kill him. He looks at them coldly. Long time no see, my brothers. To understand the story, let's go back to Da Vinci, who said Tai Sui was originally born in the underworld, a non-human creature that feeds on human emotions like pain, anger, sadness, fear, or any bad feelings. To please him, Yanting killed his entire family and people. Strangely, he vanished mysteriously afterward. The legend says he mastered all kinds of forbidden black magic, so he couldn't have died. We return to Yanting, who is fighting the statues and trying to reach the entrance gate, but the statues block him with all their strength. Yanting remembers the past when he had twin brothers. He was the youngest and they all loved each other very much. But now the two are hitting him violently, and he refuses to use his power against them, submitting to them. Suddenly he uses a mask and his eyes change color. He sees everything inside the building, even reaching Jiao's location. He pulls out his sword and decides to fight his brothers to enter. My friend, he jumps over them and slices them with his sword. At the same time, Jiao refuses to believe Yanting is a criminal. Da Vinci, of course, insists he is. Da Vinci presses a secret button, showing them another place with the shape of Tai Sui's power. He tells them the first time Tai appeared was with a meteorite that destroyed the town. But the myths and stories about Tai Sui are different, and no one knows the truth from the lies. What's certain is that an enemy of Tai Sui controlled him and saved people from his evil. It can't be Yanting because everyone curses him. Before Da Vinci can finish, he spots something terrifying behind Jiao. But let's return to the king who can't kill his brothers. He tries to block their hits and protect himself. Finally fed up, he surrounds them with a magic circle, then with his magic ropes, he ties them up and immobilizes them. The two are about to cut the ropes, but the king slams them into each other with all his strength and they pass out. Back to Zhao and the others who are terrified. In front of them are a huge number of girls with their faces covered. Da Vinci tells them these are corpses that won't move. He then explains that Tai Sui loved young girls, so families would dress their daughters in these clothes and offer them as sacrifices for Tai to feed on. While Da Vinci is talking, they don't notice a corpse's hand move. The three walk among them. Suddenly, they scream in terror when all the corpses move. It looks like they're about to be knocked out today. We return to the king. One of the corpses appears to him, but strangely he says, "I tried to stop what happened, but unfortunately I failed." Suddenly, the corpse attacks him, and strange, terrifying energy comes out of its stomach. At the same time, Zhao and the others are running quickly from the corpses, whose stomachs suddenly light up, and strange beams shoot out at our heroes, who dodge them with difficulty and keep running. Zhai, of course, takes off running like a horse, leaving them behind. Da Vinci tries to reassure Zhao. "Don't worry, they're much weaker than the zombies, at worst we'll just be sliced to pieces." Zhao looks behind him. Oh no, the zombies are with them. They keep running and manage to escape the corpses, but suddenly more zombies appear in front of them. The archaeologist takes off his coat and his body changes, surrounded by fire. With one strike, he wipes out all the zombies. Just as he's about to flex his muscles, twice the number of zombies show up behind them. They run quickly, out of breath from all the running. They enter a strange place full of doors. Da Vinci tells him these are the 8 gates and only 3 are safe. If they enter the rest, they will die. But Zhao spots the soldiers getting closer. He grabs Da Vinci by the scruff of his neck and chooses the gate of death. They keep running until Da Vinci grabs Zhao by the scruff of his neck before he falls. It turns out they are standing on a rock and have reached the end of the corridor. Da Vinci spots a bridge in the distance, so they run toward it, but Zhao is about to fall, especially since he's afraid of heights. The number of zombies behind them is huge, but they are relieved that the soldiers are falling off the hill and not noticing. The two keep walking until they reach another gate. Zhao moves toward it, but suddenly the life talisman expires. Tai Sui wakes up and the place shakes from his power. But Zhao is out of it, feeling a strange sense of peace as he touches the door, as if he's about to be reborn. Back to the king, who is fighting the guards with all his might, trying to reach Zhao before everything is destroyed. "But you're too late, King." Zhao pushes the door and suddenly a terrifying power explodes from him. He hears a scary voice saying, "You are the chosen one. Your destiny is in sync with Tai Sui." Suddenly, Tai is free from his chains and his body takes shape. At the same time, the blood threads grab Zhao and a strange eye appears on his face. Before he can grab the threads, Ting appears just in time and slices off his arm. But unfortunately, the blood threads explode from the gate and tie up Zhao, who is completely defeated until his appearance changes and Tai Sui takes over. At the same time, we see Ling watching what's happening. We need Zhao's body to open the shrine and become the substitute that Tai Sui feeds on. He was talking to Hua, who was his partner but doesn't like what's happening to Zhao. But Ling tells her this offer won't last long because Ting will stop what's happening and Zhao might not be able to connect to the world of essence. What does that mean? I'll tell you in a bit. Suddenly, Ling vanishes and a doll appears in his place. Back to Zhao, who is tied up with threads. Suddenly, an eye opens in his mind and the threads enter his body. He sees a massacre, people fighting and scary scenes in front of him. A voice says, "It's not your fault. Everything happening is because of King Ting. You must kill him." Suddenly, the threads reach his heart and then leave his body after he's completely changed. All he cares about is killing Ting. He attacks, but whoosh, Ting sends him flying, but Zhao gets up again and starts fighting him. Ting blocks his hits. From afar, Da Vinci is watching, surprised that Ting the killer is now against Tai Sui. Zhao gets up, grabs a column nearby and throws it at Ting, who easily dodges it and starts hitting Zhao until he pins him to the ground and is about to control him. But Tai's power sends him flying. But with one hit, Ting explodes the threads. He looks at Zhao, whose body is being covered with threads. He says, "Tai has taken over. He reached the world of essence. I must stop him before he reaches the world of energy." He pulls out his sword, but the blood threads increase on Zhao. Zhao attacks, but Ting quickly runs to him, dodging all of Tai's attacks until he reaches Zhao and stabs the sword into his back, reaching his heart. He grabs Zhao by the face. If Tai takes over, we'll both be destroyed. Zhao screams and Tai's power leaves his body. He passes out. Da Vinci runs to Ting, unable to believe he's still alive, and asks about Zhao. Ting tells him he has sealed Tai's power inside his body temporarily. Da Vinci is shocked that all the books were wrong about Ting. He promises that once he gets out of here, he'll tell everyone the truth. But Ting refuses, telling him that the Tai Sui matter is very important, and many things are still unclear, so they must keep it a secret for now.